Coronation Street airs the fallout of a murder week tonight, after Theo Silverton was finally revealed as the mysterious dead body. But while it turns out that Carl Webster and Maggie Driscoll survived their brushes with death, the drama is far from over. On Friday, all 5 potential victims were left in a precarious state after run-ins with their many respective foes. Among the casualties were Carl, who was beaten up and left for dead by Ronnie Bailey, and Maggie, who was found unconscious after exposing Megan Walsh's abortion to her grandson Will. The episode ended with Betsy Swain discovering Theo's lifeless body in the ginel, with the fates of the others left unknown. But in tonight's episode we learn that Maggie's collapse was actually due to a heart attack, rather than foul play. Despite being hospitalized by the incident, the matriarch appears to be her usual snarky self, scolding her son Ben for not fussing over her enough after she nearly died. When Ben addresses Will's absence, saying the teen is refusing to talk to anyone, Maggie explains the truth about his and Megan's baby. Later, the landlord tries to have an honest chat with the teen, who is still heartbroken about Megan's actions. But tensions flare in the pub's back room, with the whole family at odds over recent events. Meanwhile, Debbie Webster anxiously awaits news about Carl, who was last seen being resuscitated by the hospital staff. It's revealed that he is alive but has suffered a punctured lung as a result of the accident. Guilt-ridden Ronnie is forced to watch his wife agonize over Carl's condition, which he was responsible for. But when Carl regains consciousness, he admits he has no recollection of the attack. "I don't remember anything. It makes no sense," he tells Debbie. "I don't remember being that drunk. What am I doing, Deb? I'm an idiot." The distraught villain describes the situation as karma, and declares that he doesn't deserve love. He tells a teary Debbie that he will always love her, adding, "You're the best part of me." Could this be a turning point for their relationship, or does Carl have yet another scheme up his sleeve? The Cobbles of Weatherfield have never seen a day quite like this. In a shock twist that dropped early on ITVX, Coronation Street has officially confirmed the fates of Carl Webster and Maggie Driscoll, and the fallout is already sending shockwaves through the entire street. The episode opens in tense silence, a stark contrast to the usual chaos of the Rover's return. Something feels wrong from the very beginning. The camera lingers on empty streets, flickering streetlights, and hurried whispers between neighbors who clearly know more than they are saying. The tone is darker, heavier, as if Weatherfield itself is bracing for impact. Carl Webster's breaking point. Carl Webster has been walking a dangerous line for weeks. His tangled web of lies, strained relationships, and escalating pressure from every direction have finally reached boiling point. In the early ITVX episode, viewers finally see the moment everything unravels. Carl is found in a fragile state after what appears to be a violent confrontation. His injuries are serious, and for a moment, it looks like the end has come. The ambulance arrives late, the sirens cutting through the emotional silence, while onlookers stand frozen in shock. At the hospital, doctors fight desperately to stabilize him. Family members gather in the waiting area, each one more emotionally fractured than the last. There is no comfort here, only uncertainty. Then comes the devastating confirmation: Carl survives, but only just. He is left in critical condition, and even if he pulls through, nothing will ever be the same again. The Webster family is shattered, forced to confront the consequences of secrets that have been buried for too long. The episode makes it clear, Carl's fate is not just physical survival, but emotional ruin. His future in Weatherfield hangs by a thread. Maggie Driscoll's collapse while Carl fights for life. Another storm is unfolding across town. Maggie Driscoll, the formidable matriarch known for her sharp tongue and even sharper instincts, finds herself at the center of chaos. Tensions that have been building for weeks finally explode in a confrontation that changes everything. In a heated argument on the precinct, voices rise, accusations fly, and years of resentment boil over. Maggie, refusing to back down, delivers one final devastating truth that leaves everyone stunned. But it is the aftermath that proves fatal, not in the literal sense, but in the emotional destruction it causes. Moments later, Maggie collapses. At first, those around her believe it is shock or stress. But panic quickly sets in as she fails to respond. The scene becomes frantic, someone calls for help, others scream for clarity, while one character stands frozen, staring at what they may have just caused. Paramedics arrive swiftly, but the damage is already done. Maggie is rushed away, her condition critical. Unlike Carl, however, her storyline takes a more mysterious turn. The early ITVX episode deliberately leaves her fate uncertain, cutting away before answers are given. A street divided by secrets. As news spreads through Weatherfield, panic and speculation take over. Residents begin to piece together fragmented information, each version more distorted than the last. Some believe Carl's downfall is linked to his own reckless decisions. Others whisper that he was deliberately targeted. Meanwhile, Maggie's collapse becomes the subject of heated debate: accident, stress, or something far more sinister. The writers cleverly blur the lines between truth and rumor, leaving viewers questioning everything they think they know. Even familiar faces in the street begin to turn on each other. Old alliances crack under pressure. Suspicion spreads like wildfire. Every conversation feels loaded, every glance carries meaning. The emotional fallout. One of the most powerful aspects of the episode is not just the events themselves, but the emotional devastation left behind. For Carl's loved ones, the waiting game is unbearable. The hospital becomes a battlefield of emotions: guilt, fear, regret, and unresolved anger, all colliding in one confined space. Relationships are pushed to breaking point as truths that were once hidden begin to surface. For Maggie's family and allies, confusion reigns. Without answers, grief becomes tangled with suspicion. Was it her past catching up with her? Or was she simply in the wrong place at the wrong time during a moment of explosive confrontation? The episode refuses to provide easy answers. Instead, it leans into uncertainty, forcing viewers to sit with discomfort. A turning point for Coronation Street. This early ITVX release marks a major turning point in the ongoing storyline. The decision to reveal Carl's critical survival and Maggie's uncertain collapse in one episode sets up a much larger mystery that is clearly still unfolding. Rather than offering closure, the show opens new questions. Who is truly responsible for Carl's condition? Will Maggie recover? Or is this the beginning of a long decline? And what secrets are still waiting to be exposed beneath Weatherfield's surface? The tension is deliberate, the pacing controlled, and the emotional stakes higher than ever. Final moments. The episode closes with a haunting final sequence. Rain falls over the cobbles as emergency lights flash in the distance. Carl lies unconscious in hospital. Maggie's fate remains unknown. And the street, once familiar, now unsteady, feels like it is holding its breath. A final line from a character sums up the mood perfectly: nothing in Weatherfield stays buried forever. Fade to black. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Crown ST.